Journalists and writers are bringing back blogs in a major way, and I want in. So I'm launching a blog, and I decided that I wanted to do it on Ghost because I get more control over what it looks like. I was able to design my paywall. I can choose the story layouts. I have a members area. The website looks really great. I'm not ashamed to nerd out on this. I'm a former website designer, but there's one problem with Ghost. It doesn't include any marketing tools. So as a reader-funded writer, I have my audience support my work. I'm supported by readers and by sponsors, and I need to be able to promote those subscriptions. I can't just put them on a page and hope that people pay me. That's not how it works. Anytime I see someone complaining about this in Substack, I think you're missing a bunch of tools, and those tools are all bundled into this incredible platform called Outpost. Now, I always say that I wouldn't launch a Ghost blog without Outpost, and now that I'm launching my own Ghost blog, of course I'm gonna use Outpost. Your readers need to be sold on your subscriptions. And in order to do that, you have to use things like sequences and automations and calls to action and be smart about how you're promoting to them and smart about how you're messaging them. And you need tooling to do that. People ask me all the time, Lex, when do I need to install Outpost? What should I set up for my launch? I'm gonna show you what I think is important for my launch because I'm a monetizer. I want to make money as soon as I launch. So I'm going to show you the features of Outpost that I think are most important when I go live. Speaking of monetization, Outpost is actually my featured partner this year. They didn't really sponsor this video specifically, but you should know that we're in partnership this year. I love them. I reached out to them about this partnership, and I think they're a non-negotiable for anyone using a Ghost publication. So if you've been thinking about getting back into blogging, if you're running a paid newsletter, or if you're thinking about using Outpost on your Ghost publication, keep watching. This is the new blog. I'm super excited about it. If you're not familiar with Ghost, basically it's a blog and newsletter in one. So I'll publish the newsletter and it will go here to the website and you can control, is it a blog post? Is it a newsletter? Is it both? And I really love this theme that I found from Bright Themes. I'm going to link them in the comments. But like I already said, it's missing a bunch of marketing stuff that I know I need to continue to sell subscriptions. So I offer 3 subscription tiers. I'm adding a new tier with this launch. So I have a blog only, read only tier. I have basically a member tier where people get actually access to events and collaborations and things like that. And then I have a lifetime tier, which is the same perks from the middle tier, but just you pay one time. I think the site looks great. I'm super happy with the theme and the design, but it's missing a bunch of marketing blocks. I want to be plugging the newsletter more. I should be seeing a pop-up by now. If I'm browsing pages, I want to be able to put blocks in pages and in posts where I'm promoting stuff. I'm promoting the membership. I want this kind of stuff to be bigger. I want to be able to plug that stuff across the site. That's why we're setting up Outpost today. So let's have a look at Outpost. This is what it looks like when you first log in. Actually, if you're new to Outpost, there's a little bit of a guided flow that I've already gone through. They'll tell you what to do to set up your Ghost publication and your Stripe connection so that you're all hooked up. Once you've done that, you're here. And you can see here on the left, the autoresponder, which is my favorite feature of Outpost. This is already set up for you in terms of what you might need in here and how this should flow. A lot of email marketing tools, you have to come up with this on your own. You have to decide, okay, I'm going to send a welcome sequence. It's going to be every 3 days and I want this much delay and I want this, segmentation, whatever. And Outpost sort of just already has that in here for you. And if you go in here, I haven't edited any of these yet. You can see that they have templates ready for you to plug in. So for me, for my launch, really important that I have at least a free and a paid welcome email, right? If you join for free, I want to welcome you. If you pay me right off the bat, I want to welcome you as well. And I already have my welcome emails in this document from the previous version of this newsletter. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to plug them in to Outpost. Now you'll notice here that I can save this as a template. Outpost will save this for me so that I can reuse it and pull it in to other campaigns if I want to. That's not as relevant on a welcome email, but it's relevant for other emails that you write. I'm going to clear out this offer. Outpost allows you to make a fast action offer. So as soon as someone subscribes, they can get a special discount right away. But I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to clear that out. It's a super nice feature though. And I'm going to copy and paste my text. Now there's some basic styling that you can do in this template. And then there's also separate design controls, which I'm going to show you. Okay, now I can preview that. And I'm going to send myself a test email. So this is the default template and it's fine. I think it's totally fine, but I want to fuss with it because I'm a designer. So that's the next thing that we're going to do. So we're going to go down here to design and settings. And you can set your from address, your sender address, and all of that stuff here. And you can also set up your design. So I don't want a body color. I like my emails to be white. And I actually am a fan of plain text emails, but I'm not going to choose that. I do recommend that you keep this really simple. So I might add my logo in here as a little bit of a header image, but that's probably it. So now I have my design set up. I've got my correct sender address. I've got the header image that I want, and I've changed it to my aesthetic, which is just like white and black. And I'm going to go back into the autoresponder and I'm going to test the layout now. Okay, perfect. I got my header in there. I've got the color as I like it. It looks great. So now I'm ready to add the rest of my autoresponder emails. So now we have the free welcome email in there, which is really important to get people opening my emails at all. And now we're going to move on to the paid. Paid is also very important. You want to make sure that your members are getting delivery of their perks and that they're getting your emails. And some people who pay you won't have ever gotten the free welcome email. So you want to make sure how they know how to log in and everything like that. So I'm just going to come back over here to my doc. I'm going to paste this stuff in to my paid welcome. I don't like to use any of those like email merge tags if I can avoid it, but lots of people do. You can merge your publication name, you can merge, first name, tier, anything like that. And I don't do that, but that's all available to you here in Outpost, and they'll actually show you which ones you can pull in. Instead, I'm just going to pull in my own text, and I have a couple placeholders in here for links and images. I love this GIF of Mindy Kaling, so that is definitely going back in here. So I'm going to add an image. And I'm going to upload Mindy. Perfect. And now we just need to replace this button here, which just goes to the site. So I'll do a CTA button. And you can see here, Outpost gives you like different prompts for what you think these might be. And in my case, I'm just going to have it be go to revenue rule breaker. And you can see it's already updated there. And then in order to link this story, I'll just link this text here to one of my stories. Cool. And now we're done. And I'm going to save it. And of course, I'm going to test it. And then we can turn on the autoresponder. Okay, great. My GIF is loaded. We've got all the text in here. Let me just check the links. It's perfect. We're ready to go. We're ready to turn on the autoresponder. So now I'm going to turn on this big on off button, and both of those emails will now start delivering. So anytime someone subscribes for free or they become a paying member, they're going to get these two emails. There's tons of other emails in here, and I do think these are very important. For me, I'm going to focus on starting from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to keep going on the free sequence, and then I'm going to turn over here to retention and renewal, and I'm gonna turn these off for now. But these are pretty important. Like these are fast follows for me. Really quickly after launch, renewal reminders, preempting cancellations if people cancel their card, unsubscribes, all that stuff. This is all very important. As soon as I launch, I'm coming back in here to do this because growing the membership is important, but keeping members is key because that's where you start to hemorrhage growth if you're not keeping your members. And so Outpost has so many great templates in here for this. I'm not going to turn them on right now, but like I said, they will be on in the first month of launch because they are key. This is why I get really excited about this tool, because these little sequences in the background are making your newsletter feel super active. They're engaging people in your mission. You're able to talk about different things that you've done that maybe are like way buried on your blog. You can pull forward stories or things that you really want to make sure new folks see. You can promote things like start here. This is a great starter story. This is one of our most popular stories. And you can gradually motivate them to become a paid subscriber or to leave you a cash tip or to share with a friend, whatever action you want them to take that's going to actually drive money into your bank account. And the fact that Outpost has already thought about all of these different sequences that you need and they're already set up for you, and all you have to do is go in there and customize the text and maybe change it a day or two. It's brilliant. It's so easy. It could not be easier. People will send me a reply and they'll say, I really liked your newsletter today. And I'm thinking, I didn't send a newsletter today. And what they're talking about is an automated email. They work and your readers can't tell the difference. And also, it's a great way to keep your publication feeling alive if you step away for a month or two, because in the background, you're sending a sequence to your readers that is engaging them, that is keeping them aware of stories. And especially when you get new readers, if you're not publishing right now, if you have that welcome sequence turned on, they're getting content even though you're not publishing. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fuss with the failed payment flow. If you have involuntary churn, if people have a credit card that's expiring and their subscription will just cancel, then you just lose them, right? So you want to remind them, make sure that they know that their credit card is going to expire. I have Stripe notifications turned on my phone, so I see how many failed payments my members have. I'm really sorry, you guys, if you're watching this. I can see that your payments are failing. And then I see them get course corrected. So this is really important. Outpost has this gorgeous failed payment flow that's like pretty close to being ready to go. And it's actually already on. And these messages don't need to be that persuasive. They don't need to be flowery. They don't need to really have that much personality. I do think you can edit the subject lines. So I might say something like, instead of billing issue, I might say, your credit card couldn't be processed for, actually, I'm going to leave that blank because my subscribers know my membership by different names. Okay, your credit card couldn't be processed is what I'll leave it as. And then it'll have my sender name. And then I'm just going to change sincerely to, I'm just going to do thanks, Lex. Oh, actually, I don't use subscriber first names. So I'm going to say, hey, you can always preview that, send the test email. So this looks great, comes from me, people know what it is, and it's just very simple. These emails can be very short. So I'm just going to quickly go through and do that on all of these. So the failed payment flow is completely customized, all the subject lines and just a little bit of copy changes. That took me 15 minutes to do. The other thing you want to check here is you want to check that Stripe is actually retrying payment. So go to your Stripe account. In the search bar, type in revenue recovery. You'll go to this page. And then you want to make sure that the smart retry policy is on for at least 2 weeks, because Outpost is going to send this over the course of 7 days. So you want to make sure that it's sending for a long time and that Stripe is retrying it. Stripe is doing that so that if they update their credit card, then Stripe can rebill. I just think the failed payment flow alone pays for your Outpost subscription. Like, this is one of the easiest ways to make your money back. They're going to go chase down people whose credit cards have expired, and they're going to remind them over and over again that they need to update their credit card. Now, Stripe has a built-in way to do this, but it's not very good. Outpost is way more thorough. They're going to chase down that money with several reminders. And what does that mean? It means that people are going to actually change their credit card and that you will actually keep them on as a subscriber. Like, if that only happens a couple times a month, you're paying back your subscription fee to Outpost. So if you know me, you know that I love a good call to action. I want people to subscribe to my newsletter. I want them to know about my tip jar, my sponsorships, and obviously I want them to know about my paid subscriptions. So Outpost has this auto display feature, which is so killer, and it will just dynamically inject calls to action into your website and specifically into your posts. So if you're linking something on social media or in your emails, people click through. As they're reading it, they get these different calls to action. What's cool about this is that you can control them all in one place. So you don't have to go through your whole site and change every single one, which if you've ever used Squarespace, you know is a real thing that happens on other sites. And you also don't have to go into your Ghost theme code. You could just control this all from here. So you can see that Outpost has this set up with in-post slots. So that's in article slots, pop-up slots as well. So you can have a pop-up window, a bottom slide up, and then homepage calls to action. And you can turn these on and off. I want a couple calls to action in my articles. I want to make sure people know about the newsletter in the articles. And then I definitely want to use the pop-up because I have found that's really effective for the newsletter growth and also maybe something on the homepage. So if I go in here, you can actually control where this sits within the article. I'm going to leave this one here at the top of the post, and instead I'm going to do the third paragraph down. You can completely control this. So it could be 7 paragraphs, it could be 2 paragraphs, but I'm going to have it be the third paragraph down from the beginning. So you're reading an article, 3 paragraphs down, you'll get a call to action. And what's really cool about this is that you can control it by audience. So unknown people are people that are logged out. Free readers are newsletter readers that don't pay you. And then you have monthly and annual subscribers. So you can change these calls to action based on your reader and their experience with you, their relationship with you. So you send your theme code over to Outpost, and then when it comes back to you, everything is sort of already styled in your style. So this is my highlight color. And in the pop-up, it also pulls in my publication logo. So this is nice because it's already sort of halfway there. And then I might want to change what this says or the font or a little bit of the styling, and I can do that from right within here. So I think the easiest way to do this is to go into the slots where you want to put these calls to action. I'm going to go in here, third paragraph in the beginning, I want a newsletter call to action. And I only want that for my unknown readers because everyone else, free, monthly, and annual, they're already on the newsletter. So I'm going to say choose new.
And then I can see my active calls to action here. I can also see all of the options. So there's a bunch of different options for actions in the library. You can have classic, where it's a bigger box encouraging you to sign up for the newsletter, or a slim box, which is just the newsletter input. But I'm going to go with rounded modern. I'm going to clone this CTA, and then I'm going to make some updates to the styling. So I want this to say something more fun. And I'm going to grab some text from my website to plug in here. Get the behind the scenes. The rest looks good to me. And then we'll go into design. You have light theme and dark theme, and you can preview right here the difference between those two. So you can see the font changes colors. I don't want my site default font. I think I want to go with Arial. For these, I like a sans serif on these action blocks, and then I want to take the font down. So I'm going to do that on both, Arial, and we'll take the font down. And now I can see what that looks like right here. So that looks a little bit better. I don't want this green background as much as I like that as my color. I really only want that for buttons. So in my design, I'm going to make the background transparent, and I'm instead going to focus on the border, which I think I want to make 3 pixels. And I don't think I want it to be the ghost color. I think I want to choose my orange color from the site. So I'll plug that here, and I'll also do it here. And we can have a look at that. Yeah, I like that design. I think that's sufficient. And I also really like my site image. So in here, I can just use my site logo, and Outpost will actually just pull that in for me, which is great, or you can choose something else. And now that is looking more like my style. That is what I want. The dark theme has an issue, so we're going to go into design for the dark theme, and we're going to make that background also orange. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, I'll buy that. So I'm going to save this to the library for later, and I'm going to pull it into my auto display slot. You just hit choose new, and then it's in inactive. That's where it went. And I'll just set it as a call to action. So now it's in there. And if I turn this on, then I should see it in one of my articles. So let's go have a look. And if we scroll down, there's my call to action. So now people can just sign up for my newsletter right there in the post. So that's great. I want that to be my top call to action. So I also want to do a pop-up. So I'm going to choose this. And you can decide whether your pop-up is on like how long they've scrolled or a delay, or you can place it on a certain scroll length on the page. So I'm going to do scroll depth 70%. And we can see Outpost already has a default in here for me, and this is pretty close. I'm going to just make a couple changes. So I'm going to clone this CTA. I'm going to put my header in here. I want that outside border to be a little thicker. I want to use that orange again. Actually, maybe I don't like that orange. Maybe we'll just do black. Yes, that looks better. And then I want that font to be sans serif. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to save this as a new CTA, and we'll just save that. Now we have a new design in here. And then I'll just enable that for unknown readers. So people that aren't yet subscribed to the newsletter, I'll make sure that this is on. Okay, our pop-up's enabled. So let's see if it loads on the site for us. There it is. So now I have a pop-up and an inline call to action. And that makes sure that when people are reading the blog, they also know that there's a newsletter and they're getting on that newsletter.
The last thing I want to do before I launch is connect Plausible. Plausible is a web analytics platform. It's great. It's cookieless. It's so cool that it's included within Outpost because it is the easiest way to see site traffic, referral sources, how people are getting, from a story into your tip jar or your memberships. You just go here to your Plausible dashboard. I've already activated Plausible, but I do need to plug the code in to my site. So I'm going to go down here to integrations. I can see Plausible is already there. If I go in here, I get this little snippet that needs to go into the header of my Ghost publication. So I'm going to go into the header. In Ghost settings, I'm going to go all the way down here to code injection, where I will see site header, and then I can just paste this Plausible code. And if I go back here and I open the website, then I should see one real-time visitor, and that is me. And there's no data in here, obviously, because nothing's happened yet. But now it's all hooked up and ready to start capturing data about where people are coming in once I launch, what pages they're looking at, what stories they're looking at, and how they're getting to my membership page, most importantly. You can also log into Plausible separately. When you hook this up, it'll send you an email and you can just go to plausible.io and log in with the same credentials you use on Outpost and see this dashboard bigger if you want it to be bigger. But it's totally fine in here. And I'm thrilled that it's all in one place, because also Outpost has a dashboard which is member specific and you get reports from Outpost too. So it's just super nice to have a lot of this data all together. You can see now why you need Outpost with your Ghost blog, and it's not really an option to not use Outpost if you actually want to make money from your blog or your newsletter. I think the way that Outpost has set this up is so cool. I just think it's so smart to have all of the monetization tools in one place where I can control all the sequences, the failed payments, all of the member tiers, the discounts, the packages that I'm offering, the action blocks, the sponsorship blocks, the ad blocks. Like, to me, it's so smart that it all lives together and that it's just all in order for me to manage in one place. And I can change it there in Outpost and it'll just go across the site. There's no other tool like Outpost. Like, I don't think there's another monetization tool specifically for writers, bloggers, newsletter writers. I don't think it exists. And it pays for itself. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to add another subscription. I don't want to do more software. They're going to go chase money down for you. It's not something that you even have to worry about, because they're going to welcome people, upgrade them into subscriptions by running those sequences in the background, by putting those action blocks on your site. You're going to keep your subscribers around by reminding them when they have renewal dates and trying to win them back if they cancel. And they're going to chase down credit cards that are expiring with the failed payment flow. So they're going to recoup inactive churn for you, reduce that for you, so that you keep more of those subscribers with you. One of the best things about Outpost is that they are not bankrolled by billionaires. They are an indie tech company. They were founded by an indie developer and a former journalist, and they are also a members co-op. They're a publishers co-op. So they're very collaborative with their publishers. They're very involved with their publishers. When you join Outpost, you become a member of the co-op. And that means that when you make a feature request or you talk to the team there, they take your input very seriously because they work for you and not for investors. That's incredibly rare right now. Like, our tech ecosystem doesn't really have companies like that. You can also rest easy knowing that they're not just going to ship features because they have investors breathing down their neck. They're shipping things that publishers like you want and have asked for. I am talking about Outpost all year on my newsletter, Journalists Pay Themselves. I'm also hosting trainings and office hours. Check that stuff out at journalistspaythemselves.com and tell me what you want to see. Leave a comment down below or reply to any of my emails. I'd love to hear what you're trying with Outpost, where you're getting stuck, where you see opportunity, and what's really working for you. Outpost has a super generous free trial. Connect them to your blog, go check it out, see for yourself how these tools can help you sell your subscriptions, your sponsorships, make more money, encourage more tips, bring in that revenue that you need in order to be an independent publisher in 2025. Stay tuned for more videos behind the scenes of my blogging and newsletter business, because it is growing this year. It's my full-time job now, and I'm taking you along for the ride.